Hello, I am live. Hopefully you guys can hear me. New mic. So hopefully that's working. And we've got kitty cats causing trouble already. So typical live. Welcome, welcome. I it's nice to be back with you guys, just sort of the normal live, I enjoy my guests, but it's nice to also just hang out for a little bit and chat with you guys. So we will definitely do that tonight. Hello to everyone in the chat. Glad you are enjoying them. I enjoy them as well. One of the small benefits of lockdown has been doing these. So welcome, welcome everybody. Hello. Hi, everybody. So there are two things that I wanted to talk about with you guys tonight. And I should mention, for those of you watching on replay, I will do my best to remember to go back in and put in timestamps for when we talk about different topics, so you can check that out. But the two topics I wanted to talk with you guys about, one are January and February releases that I didn't cover in my last anticipated reads list because I've become aware of them since then. And my next one is going to be covering March onwards. So I wanted to talk about these books in one of these kinds of anticipated list videos. So we're going to talk about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about were just some sort of like channel housekeeping notes. You know, just sort of like rules of the road. Some of them, most of these are the same from last year, but just like having it on the record and just chatting about that with you guys. So yeah, those are the two topics. And maybe for those of you guys who are in the chat, you can let me know if you have a preference as to which we cover first. So you guys can let me know. But yeah, I like both too. It's nice having guests. Both are work or like tiring in different ways. Like when I have guests, it's more, you know, trying to keep up a conversation with someone while keeping an eye on the chat. And then when it's just me, it's like, okay, it's sort of like the equivalent of radio of like, you need to keep going so that you don't have anything, you don't have dead air kind of a thing. But it's nice to have a mix of both. And I am trying this year to get more people on so that we have a little bit more of a mix. Hello. Hello to England. It's late there. Hope you're getting good night rest. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I really enjoyed making that video, and so far the response has been pretty positive. So if you haven't checked out my historical accuracy is garbage video essay, it is a video I'm really proud of. So I would appreciate it if you would go check it out, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's definitely a labor of love. Hello to Philly. Hey there. Oh, thank you so much. Glad, yeah, I feel like people, oh, hello to Canada. Um, yeah, I feel like people who watched it seem to mostly be enjoying it. I do have at least one more I would like to do, but it was so much work. I'm going to take a little time, but you know, I'm so glad those of you who've seen it have enjoyed it. Hello, housekeeping first. Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm doing pretty well. We've been experimenting with my meds for my autoimmune disease, so that's been fun this month, but you know, we're chugging along. Yes, my COVID card table. So my new setup in my office is that I am speaking to you on a card table, and behind me is the additional monitor and like my kind of setup for during the day at work. I finally just had to give in to the reality of what working from home looks like for me. So, okay, a second for housekeeping. So maybe we'll do that first. Hello to Phoenix, Scotland. We got Scotland, we got England. Do we have Wales? Do we have Northern Ireland? How long did it take me to write the script? It probably took like, I don't know, maybe like 10 hours, something like that. It was a long was a long process. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I just did a hello Alicia, and yeah, I was just on Leanna's channel, and we did a Black Company book club. I think I can also like, I think we agreed to this, so I'll just sort of tentatively say that I do think that me and Bethany are going to be joining the Blades and Bodices book club. So you will be seeing more book club content from me once a month, either on this channel or on one of their channels, which I'm excited about. I think that will be fun. Thank you, Kay. Okay, yeah, we're all agreeing that we're going to do housekeeping first. Hello, I hope you're well too. So, actually, I'm about to blow my own mind with my efficiency. Just a second. I'm going to go ahead and write down what the time stamp for when we start talking about these things are so that I can update the description later. Aren't you proud? I know I'm proud. Okay. Yes. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm glad. I feel like people, I know it's not like the most popular video I've done, but it's a video that I've gotten some of the most positive feedback from. There is one more I'm definitely wanting to do, but it's just, I need to take a little bit of a breather, but as a teaser, it involves Jane Eyre. So I'm hoping that I will also, based on how positive the feedback on this one was, my goal is to get at least that one up this year, and then we'll go from there. Valentine romance books. Are you talking about recommendations for those? I mean, all romance, I would say. Okay, so we are at 6. So we'll just say 7 o'clock. Okay, it's 7 minutes in. We're starting housekeeping. Okay, so housekeeping items for this year. First of all, a reminder of the best ways to get in touch with me. So for some context, there are 2 things that drive this policy. First is that I am a project manager by trade. So I spend all day long on email. Therefore, in my private life, like I spend all day being hyper accessible to everyone. Therefore, in my private life, you can ask any of my friends, any of my family. I am not great at email. I'm not great at texting, not great at DMs, because in my mind, I associate that so strongly with work. And then on top of that, I also have like, sometimes I have some anxiety around communications and guilt about like, oh, like I didn't respond to them and it's too late to respond now. And it's just like a whole thing. So if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that is to comment on whatever my latest video is, or maybe like the last 2. I sporadically check my DMs, and I do not respond to emails that are not business related. So if you want to get in touch with me, that is the best way to do it. On a related note, speaking of the most recent video, I have three items I'm clarifying on how I'm moderating. One, I have found that unfortunately comments on my later or like earlier videos are far more likely to have, I would describe them as like aggressively unkind comments on them. And so I do occasionally check comments on older videos, but it is well, not so frequently. It is frequent enough that that is an unpleasant interaction for me that I don't put an emphasis on checking those. And in fact, I try to remember to not look at those comments and to only look at the most recent comments, because those tend to be less trolly, more kind. So if you are watching my older videos and you comment, I really, really appreciate that. And like I said, I do occasionally dip in there, but just know if you're like trying to get my attention, I'm actively trying to like not look at those as much, because they're more likely to basically accidentally ruin my day. So there's that. Second thing on moderation is that I'm going to try to ruthlessly start hiding people from the channel which means you can still comment and see things, but I can't see you if you say anything negative about the way that I look. Sometimes I think these are meant to be trolly comments. Sometimes I actually think they're coming from people who think that they're giving some kind of constructive criticism. And sometimes I think they're from people who don't realize that there's actually a person reading their comments. But all that to say, I don't deserve that. I'm not putting myself out there for those comments. And like, I'm going to stop. I think I get into this like whataboutism or like both sidesism in my head of like, well, but you have, people, you let people say nice things about the way you look. So you have to let people say bad. No more of that. I'm not here for it. 2021 Mark has no time for it. So if people do that, I will just hide them from the channel and not feel bad about it. So that's my second moderation item. I'm just like gonna stop having both sidesism in my head. If you say something not nice about the way I look, I'm just not gonna have time for it. The third thing is, just in general, I am also going to be more kind to myself about letting myself hide people from the channel who are not engaging in a constructive way, because here's how I'm thinking about this. I was made aware at some point that there is guru gossip for BookTube. This was probably like a year and a half ago. And I love gossip. I mean, if you guys can't tell, I love some hot goss. Like I'm here for some tea. I love it. So I was like, ooh, okay. I went on there and I was like, oh, wow. Okay. It just hits you a different way when you know the people involved in the drama. But anyway, the whole time I was like apprehensively waiting for my name to come up. And it finally did, but it was in a positive way. And then it came up again also in a positive way. But I had this moment of realizing like, this is a form of self-harm for me to just be reading guru gossip, waiting for someone to say something bad about me. So I have not looked at it in 18 months plus. And the way that I think about this is that that space is for non-constructive, like just pettiness. And we all are entitled to be petty about things. It's there for pettiness. And that is a space for viewers, the same way that I think reviews are a space for readers and not authors. I think guru gossip is for viewers, not content creators. And if people would like to be petty and non-constructive, they have carte blanche to go over there and do that. I encourage it. That's what it's for. On my video, though, I don't need to put up with that. And so if I see it, I'm just not going to feel bad about hiding people from the channel. So basically what I'm saying is I think I have a lot of internal, like, I want to let people have their say and like I'm open to constructive criticism. And I think I've just realized in the last few months, like, constructive criticism is not the same thing as being unkind or abusive. and I would tell, and I realized, like, that thing they tell you to do in therapy of like, what would you tell your friend or what would you tell your 5-year-old self? I was like, if any of my friends were dealing with this, I would tell them to block that person immediately. So like, why am I putting up with this for myself? This gets into this whole thing of like, I will tolerate some unkindness to myself, but if you come for my friends, like I will get a bitch. So I think I just realized like, oh, I need to bring some of that energy to my own comments. So this is not the majority of people. I don't want to overblow the volume of this. It's just frankly, it's a function of growing. Like the more people you have, you get more of these kinds of comments. So there's that. And then I have this so I have a stated review policy linked in my about section, and I have a website and there's like a tab that has my review stuff in there. And I also think I've said this a number of times, but I do just want to reiterate and remind people, self-pubbed authors, I do not accept self-pub titles for review. I do this because, frankly, going back to my discussion about anxiety, it just makes me so anxious, the idea of reading something and then potentially not liking it and how that would impact the author and the book. And I just don't need that stress in my life. Like, there's enough things in my life that stress me out. That doesn't need to be one of them. So it is not that I don't enjoy self-pubbed work. If you watch this channel, I think you know that some of my favorite authors are partially or wholly self-pubbed. And I would accept a self-pubbed work from an author who I'd already read and enjoyed. But if I've never read a self-pubbed author before, I won't accept a review copy. I have that stated several places. I know that this will not keep people from trying to get me to do it, but I'm just reminding anybody out there, I don't do it. That is my rationale as to why. So there you go. So that was the 3 main things I wanted to remind people of. How to get in touch with me if you really are actually wanting me to see something you said. Actually, another pretty good way to make sure I see what you have to say is to comment on Instagram, because I just don't think I get a lot of those, so I notice them. So that's a thing, less so on DMs, but really the best way to get a hold of me if you're wanting to say something to me is the most recent video or 2 in the comments. I am going to be moderating more purposefully from now on. I won't be looking at older videos for the most part. If you say something not nice about the way I look, I'm blocking you or hiding you. And if you're being petty or aggressively unkind, I will also hide you from the channel. And then self-pubbed authors, I will not accept those for review. So those were the housekeeping reminders I wanted to put up. So let me see what you guys have to say about any of those things. Okay, I have not heard from any of the costume folks. I hope they enjoyed it. It was definitely something, there was some love lettering in there for the costume folks. Oh, yay, welcome to live. Just discovered BookTube last month. Yay, yes, I do love Agatha Christie. It makes me sad. I know people find my Agatha Christie videos and I would like to read those comments. And I start to let myself do it. And then, an Agatha Christie fanboy comes in and ruins it for me. It's very annoying. Jane Eyre, yes. So I think my next one will be about Jane Eyre. So if you haven't read Jane Eyre and you want to watch that video essay that in theory I'll work on and put out sometime this year, you should give that a read, yes. No need to be embarrassed. Just, give yourself the gift of reading it. Oh, yay. Okay, well, I'm glad that there's some enthusiasm for that topic. Hello. I'm sure everyone experiences it, but it seems like the communications anxiety is particularly prevalent in us millennials. Yes, and for me, it really is because like I said, my work is so, I would say I get easily 100 emails a day from work, and then however many IMs, I'm constantly having to be hyper responsive to communication, electronic communication. So I just resent it in my private life. So, but I'm glad I'm not alone in that. Hello. Yeah, I don't know why people do that, but hey, Ashley, what in the world happened? Who do I need to drag? There's no one in particular because I usually do end up hiding them, but I need to bring some of your energy. Ashley had a savage clap back at somebody that she posted on Twitter today, and it made me laugh. Yes, just some housekeeping here. Trolls being trolls. Trying to ruin it for everyone. Any books that you can recommend that take place on Valentine's Day? There's an Alexa Riley one that takes place on Valentine's Day. I forget what it's called. Nothing else comes to mind. Chat, if you've got ones you're thinking of, just holler. Yep, just gonna hide and block them. Yeah, if you hide someone from the channel, basically what that does, it's a beautiful, beautiful function of YouTube that they introduced a couple of years ago, and I think every creator just very much appreciated it when they did this. It basically puts somebody into a bubble where they think that they are commenting publicly. They can see their own comment. They can still watch your video and interact with it and give you engagement and interaction, but you can't see it and nobody else can see it. So basically it's a perfectly passive aggressive way of blocking someone and allowing them to continue your channel's growth by interacting and engaging with your content. It's just a win all around, except for the person being an asshole. So there you go. Hello. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah, and that's where I'm trying to get to. It's just there's difference between not even just hateful, but just petty. It's I just don't, I'm a grown ass 33-year-old lady, and I just don't need petty people being petty with me, especially if they're strangers on the internet. So, um, yeah, that's like I said, that to me is what guru gossip is for. Like, if you have pettiness, that is your forum. Like, go have at it. And frankly, I don't think content creators should be there. I don't think they should get mad at things that get posted because I just don't think it's for us. Like, if someone's like doxing you or like slandering you, I get that. But like, go over the like that's where you unleash your like, I don't like the way this person says like too much. That's where you go and unleash your, I don't like the vocal fry of this person. Like, all of that belongs on guru gossip. Yeah. Hello. We're just doing a little housekeeping. Yes, kindness always goes a long way. So, thank you for choosing to spend your time being awesome and chatting books with us. Chatting books is always a joy. I'm glad, yeah. Okay, I'm glad we've got support for that moderation approach. Thank you so much. If I'm remembering rightly, Megan, you're an actual historian? Did I make that up? So I appreciate that. Yeah, bookish people, we're just anxious. I don't know. I think a lot of people have undiagnosed anxiety, to be totally honest, which I frankly think is a function of the way that post-modernity has evolved, and especially our communications technology, but that's probably a different topic for a different day. Have I read many good books this year so far? My January wrap-up goes up on Thursday, so in 2 days. I have had big highs and lows so far this year, and I'm not going to say a slump. I mean, this gets to what me and Ashley Bethany were talking about last week of like, it's been a few days, is that really a slump? I read 4 books I did not particularly enjoy towards the end of January, and it's getting me in sort of like a slumpy mood, which I'm just started the new P. Jelly Clark book. I have an arc of it, and that is like helping me bust my slump because it is fantastic. But yeah, so I've read some great things. I read several things I really enjoyed right at the beginning of the month, but it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. You guys will see on Thursday. I go into all of it. My new motto for my anxiety is that I think about is, am I being a good friend to myself today? Oh, that's a lovely way to put it. Yes. I think that that's very helpful for self-talk, is to think like, well, like my therapist used to have me talk to myself or like think about my inner dialogue as like if I were talking to the 5-year-old version of myself. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that makes you talk to yourself a lot more kindly. So, nice. Let's see here. Yes, passive aggression for pettiness, I think, is fine. This is Guru Gossip, or Guru Gossiper, I guess is technically what it's called. There is a booktube version of it, and I would highly, oh, hello Josh, by the way, but I would highly encourage creators to stay out of it because it is not a safe space for creators, and that's fine, but yeah, it's a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, I would say Guru Gossip tends to be like the more mean-spirited version. I tend to find Reddit, I know people hate on Reddit. I tend to find the gossip on Reddit to be a little less intense. I don't know. It's not, maybe that's just been happenstance, but yes. An archivist. Okay. Yes. Well, because I was like, oh God, there's a grown-up professional in the room. You're gonna slay me. So I appreciated that if you had criticisms, you kept them very very gently worded to me. So communication anxiety thing, I just want to say that you're incredibly good at reading, featuring a wide range of our comments, and making us feel seen from my perspective. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that feedback. And I hope, yeah, my goal is always to create like constructive dialogue or like constructive engagement. I'm totally fine if people don't agree with me. I just expect like a basic level of civility in it. So, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yes, they do talk about booktube on Ring Shout there. I mean, yeah, amazingly enough. Nice. Yes, Ring Shout is so good. Also by P. DeJelly Clark. So good. Um, Guru Gossip does not just gossip about beauty YouTube, it gossips about any sub community. So there's a dedicated booktube guru. I feel like I'm maybe doing a bad thing, like pointing out that this is a thing that people can go engage with. But like I said, it's for viewers. So if you're ever watching somebody's video and you want to be petty and you think to yourself, oh, I shouldn't say that, that's not nice to that person, but you want to say it to somebody, that's what Guru Gossip is for. Or you could just, I have group chats that I send that to. So, yes. Okay. Well, maybe Ring Shout is going to become the murder bot of 2021 because it's also a Tor.com novella. There we go. I'm a Black female Star Wars fan, so trolls are attracted to me. That is a fact. Yeah, I've been a little slumpy, but here we go. Hopefully we're gonna crawl out of it in February. I read through the book tweet thread on Guru Gossip because it's talked about a lot recently. People there are thinking their hot takes are hot, but honestly, it's some same petty level as Twitter itself, nothing special. I mean, yeah, there's some cognitive dissonance. So, but again, I respect the right to have booktube viewer only spaces the way that I respect readers' rights to have readers only spaces, if that makes sense. So I think it's fine. I'm so clear on why you did or didn't like something, which is extremely helpful. Well, I'm glad that is helpful. That is definitely my goal. Only critique is that I didn't mention Hamilton. I have to tell you, I'm really bitter. Once you said that, I was like, why didn't I talk about Hamilton? But you know, I already had to cut like 10 minutes out of that video just to like make it reasonably watchable. So, but I think that would have been a great example. Okay, I'm writing this down because we're about to move into anticipated reads. So 20, we're gonna call that 27 minutes. Okay, oh, are you guys proud? I'm like a legit professional here. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about, I think I have like 9 new releases that are coming out or have come out that I want to mention that are not going to fall into any of my normal videos about anticipated reads. Yeah, so we're just going to dive into it. I have 3 of them in physical copy. So I have 2 pre-orders and then 1 that got sent to me. Let's see here. Okay, so the first one is I have Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. And I pre-ordered this because I saw so much hype about it before its release. Like everybody I knew who got this as an ARC was loving it. And then it is such a cute, like it just sounds adorable. So first of all, on a very superficial level, this cover is so freaking cute. This is middle grade fantasy. Or middle grade, I guess, urban fantasy. And the premise is that Amari's brother Quentin went missing, but she thinks he's alive. And she goes into his closet and she finds a ticking briefcase with a nomination for a tryout at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. So then she's going to have to compete for a spot into the Bureau. And let's see here. No matter how hard she tries, Amari can't seem to escape their intense scrutiny and doubt, especially once her own supernaturally enhanced talent is deemed illegal. This seems so stinking cute. Like, I think this sounds lovely. I've said this in a few videos I've filmed recently that I really am finding middle grade fantasy as my new like comfort read genre. And this just seems like such a good comfort read, and especially because I have been feeling kind of slumpy recently. I think that this is something I really would like to pick up sooner rather than later once I can make some progress on some of the arcs I have. But like I said, everybody I know who read this in advance loved it and has continued to rave about it. So I have really high hopes that this is going to be like a favorite of the year because it just seems so cute. Again, I know it's superficial, but doesn't she just look like the sweetest? I just feel like this is going to be really good. So I'm really excited about this one. This one came out in January. And I think that B.B. Alston is a debut author. Let me see. If so, that makes me excited. Yeah, his debut. And he's from South Carolina. There you go. Okay. When not writing, he can be found eating too many sweets and exploring country roads to see where they lead. Dude, same. Me and BB should hang out after this pandemic because it seems like we would get along. So anyway, I'm really excited about this. So that's my first one. Let me catch up with chat. I'm going to try to be better about that. Okay. I talk to my group of friends explicitly when someone has an idea. Me and my friends are doing in the fall. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Um, okay, well, some people are loving how long the essay was. Could have been longer, believe it or not. Okay, yes, everybody's saying Amari. Yes, everybody's loving Amari. Um, let's see here. Felt slumpy lately, but I haven't had a lapse in reading. I've enjoyed most of it. I'm hoping some Agatha Christie will get me out of it. Just finished Nemesis, and I'm currently reading The Hollow. That's a really good one. Agatha Christie is good. Actually, I need to put that on my list. I'm supposed to be rereading Parker Pine Investigates this month. That's going to be an audio pick for me. Yes. Okay. Everybody's loving Amari. I've heard it's so good. Haven't watched the video essay yet because I want to watch it undistracted. Yes. I hope you enjoy it. Yes. Literal black girl magic. There you go. I think that this sounds amazing. Yeah, Ashley's been hyping this one up. Jess from Jess Owens's channel has been hyping this up. Everybody, I feel like everybody's been enjoying it. Yes, Percy Jackson. I'm in the middle of the second Magnus Chase book. I will say, I think that the narrator changed on the audiobook and I am struggling with it. So I think I may move to the physical book that I have because I'm not loving the second Magnus Chase audio as much. But okay, yes, he is a debut author. Yeah. Everybody is loving it. I mean, BB, let's do this, man. I love sweets. I love, trolling around the backcountry. That sounds great. Let's see here. I've never read Middle Grade, but read The Lightning Thief and Amari in January. And Amari especially is making me want to pick up more Middle Grade, especially since I don't know when book 2 will be out. Yeah, there is like such an embarrassment of riches of Middle Grade. I think especially like watching Connor O'Brien, How to Train Your Gavin, and Ashley. Like, I feel like I've gotten a lot of really good middle grade fantasy recs in the last year or so, and I'm finding my groove with it. I think it's really great. Oh, I missed that. Gavin had an interview with him. Okay, there you go. Yes, everybody is reading Amari. Who in current culture is the most up-to-date Agatha Christie? Doesn't have to be an author, but who is the current Agatha? Well, I don't think anyone really matches her vibe. I'd say the closest in terms of vibe I've read is probably Ruth Ware, especially One by One. I think that has some definite Agatha Christie vibes to it. But yeah, she is the queen. She cannot be topped. Let's see here. Yeah, exactly. I thought I was feeling slumpy too, and then I think I read 27 books in January, so like, who am I even kidding? Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson yesterday, so good but so difficult. Yeah, I've heard that that's like an intense book. Struggling to read When All Else Fails. I'm alternating Agatha Christie and Neo Marsh. Yeah, I should say, so I read my first Dorothy Sayers last month for the read-along project I have set for us for this year, and I have to tell you, I did not love it, and I've started Clouds of Witness, and I couldn't tell if it was just because I'd been in a slumpy mood that I still wasn't loving it, but I'm getting afraid because I really liked my the Nio, is her name Nio Marsh? I think that's how you say her name. Nio Marsh. I enjoyed that. Her book that I read last year far more than I liked the Dorothy Sayers, but when I was younger, I thought I liked Dorothy Sayers way more than Nio Marsh. So like, who even knows who I am at this point? All that to say, I'm in a golden age of detective fiction identity crisis right now. Yeah, I've heard Grown is just absolutely fantastic. Middle Grade is so underrated. It's very cozy, and I do really love that it really thematically is so centered on family, friends, and sort of like there's usually like a romantic element. You guys know I love romance. It's not that, but like I do think there's just something really wholesome about how focused those books are on finding out who you are in the context of platonic relationships as opposed to romantic ones that you get more in YA. Like it just is intrinsically a less, I think, like angsty genre usually. So it feels cozier than YA does. I don't know. It's just like when I talk about Percy Jackson, it just makes me have like the big like watery eye emoji. I just love it so much. Oh, yes, people should read more middle grade. Oh, they're making a movie of Amari? Girl, that's exciting. Okay. Yeah, I think Ruth Ware is probably the closest I've read. Hey, Alexa. Yes, okay. Alexa agrees also. Ruth Ware. Ashley is getting people to read Grown. Ooh, okay. Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor. I have that on my radar. I think I'm online for that right now at the library. Good to know it's good. I really love Nnedi Okorafor. I don't think I've ever read from some. I haven't loved everything I've read from her, but I always find what she does really interesting. Like I think her imaginative landscape is so wonderful. Like I just think she's like a treasure of our times, basically. Happy to over on a streaming service. Ooh, oh man, that's a depressing thought, Kay. Thanks for that. You're probably right, but yes, Gavin has such a love for middle grade. So does Ashley. Ashley, I think Ashley also gets me really hyped for picture books. I haven't had an excuse to read those in a long time, but she's making me feel like I don't need an excuse. So maybe I need to broaden my horizons there too. Yeah, that Rick Riordan presents middle grade imprint. I think I've really enjoyed. I think I've read 2 from that now, and I have Aru Shah, that one from Roshni Chakshi. I just got that because it was $7, I think. So there you go. My boyfriend lives in Torquay, Torquay, sorry. So I get to go to Agatha's house a lot, and they let you play her piano. Well, that's wonderful. I was talking to the International Agatha Christie Festival folks last year, and if it's possible to travel again by the time the festival comes up, it sounds like I may be going to that. I don't know. It also depends on how managed my disease is by then, but I've always wanted to go to the English Riviera, and particularly to see Agatha Christie stuff, but we'll see. Yes, loving middle grade fantasy. Hello to Poland. It is very late there. I hope you are either on night shift or you're going to go to bed soon. You deserve rest. Sorry, it makes me sound like you're your mom. Like, are you getting enough sleep? I'm worried. I love sleep so much. I want everybody to have plenty of sleep. Okay. I read Gaudy Night in November and hated it. I read Strong Poison last month and loved it, but I read Whose Body literally today and thought it was okay. So I don't know how I feel about Sayers. See, I like Gaudy Night, I would tell you is like a top 50 kind of book for me. I love it. And I remember loving Busman's Honeymoon. I remember hating Five Red Herrings. And I thought Whose Body was just like, no. So I don't know. We'll see. Prefer middle grade fantasy over YA fantasy. I can definitely understand that. Yeah, themes wise, middle grade, it's very tender. It's a very tender genre. Have you ever read or interested in Ever After Always by Chloe Lease? I have never even heard of that, so no. Okay, Ashley's saying she also liked Remote Control. I've yet to find anyone close to Agatha Christie in her writing style. One of the stories in The Eighth Detective came close. I agree. It's part of why I like The Eighth Detective so much. I would say if you're a fan of Christie, The Eighth Detective, well, I know I'm in the minority of really liking that book, but I do think that there's a lot of strong Christie vibes in terms of the types of stories it's telling. Heartbreaking but good. No, we don't need an excuse to read picture books. They're just great. Oh, good to know. Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, middle grade, I'm just finding middle grade fantasies because the beginning of the year is always so stressful for me at work anyway. And I'm in charge of this gigantic project that's like this new line of business for us. So it's so much work. It's such a cluster. So I've been really stressed out at work recently. So I just kind of want something like very chill. A top 50 fave books video. Yeah, so my intention, and I forget who gave me this idea, but this year, instead of doing my top 10 favorite books, my intention at the end of the year is to do an unranked top 50 favorite books ever list, because I don't think I could rank 50 books, but I think I could select 50 books. Hands down. No, okay, I've been holding on to that in my back pocket for like I think the time is coming because I am so stressed, but I've been saving it for like when I just need like it's sort of like a break glass in case of emergency kind of book for me. So I've been holding on to it. But I will get to it. I have it on my e-reader. I'm ready to go. Oh, good. Okay. Well, I hope you can get to sleep soon. You deserve it. Um, yeah, I don't love that author. So I don't think I'll be reading it, but I did hear that the book was great. So I can see that. Less Limits, like, um, it can go as fantastical and whimsical as it wants without really having to convince the reader. Um, yeah, there you go. Yes, the beginning of the year is just work intense. Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, I can't dispute you on that. I just loved it. So, okay. Continuing on with anticipated reads. Another middle grade pick is Root Magic by Eden Royce. This is set in the 1960s and it is based on African American folk traditions. So it's like middle grade fantasy, like historical. Isn't it hilarious that the 60s is now historical fiction? Anyway, this just looked really, really cute. And I saw some early reviews again that were really making me excited. So I decided to pre order it. One of my goals for this year is to just more liberally order things when I'm in the mood, when they sound good to me from voices that are not like me. So I just think this sounds really cute. Like it's a brother and a sister. They're twins. They're in South Carolina. Um, let's see here. The legacy of their family for generations, especially the curious potions and powders Doc and Grand would make for the people on their island. And they find out that their family has more power. And then there's evil, both natural and supernatural, coming to the town itself. It's going to take every bit of magic she has inside her to see it through. Debut author Eden Royce arrives with a wonder story of love, bravery, friendship, and family. Yes, this is what I need. So I pre-ordered this one and I'm really excited about it. It seems really sweet. I just need some sweetness. Let's see here. Audible recommendations per genre. I feel like I'm just not picky enough as an audiobook reader. Like I encounter ones I don't like, but I don't feel like I have strong feelings about individual books for the most part. So I don't know if I'm the best person to give those recommendations. I do have a video somewhere of like my favorite audiobooks. The only narrator I love is Hugh Fraser for Agatha Christie. So that would be my like one recommendation. Bookish websites and blogs. I love Smart Bitches Trashy Books. That's one of my favorite blogs. I think another just sort of general good one is Book Riot. That would be another recommendation. Should I read The Remains of the Day or Jane Eyre first? Well, that's like Sophie's choice. I mean, it kind of just depends on what you like to read. They're both amazing. I mean, well, I don't know. I can't make this decision. The Remains of the Day is shorter and probably easier to get through. So if you need that, I would go with it. Jane Eyre is a classic and it is my all-time favorite book. So I guess I technically have to tell you to read Jane Eyre first. But yes, Root Magic. Okay, yay. Well, you'll have to let me know how you do with it. Yes, doesn't it look so sweet? It looks adorable. Have you read Shipped? It totally makes you want to go to the Galapagos, but then Snake Island. I have not read Shipped. And I am afraid of all the critters on the Galapagos, so I don't know if I will ever go there. Yeah, I've seen really good early reviews for Root Magic. Any more historical middle grade books? Because I want to read them all. So I would recommend, well, it's a little bit of an old school recommendation, but I still love them, and that is Anne Rinaldi. That's like my go-to middle grade historical recommendation. Or like Johnny Tremain is middle grade, and I love that one. Lois Lowry's Number the Stars. Any recommendations for books like The House in the Cerulean Sea? It was just what I needed, and now I'm craving more. Girl, I feel you. I don't really have an exact read-alike title for The House in the Cerulean Sea. It is a book I think of as somewhat unique because it is very whimsical, and I just find that lovely. But it's whimsical in a very specific way. It's like adult fiction That is, you know, in terms of the whimsy part of it, Hollow or the Nevermore from Jessica Townsend might be a good, but it's middle grade, so it's like not adult. But I think it has similar vibes. Oh, okay, an endorsement of The Remains of the Day. It is a fantastic book. I love it. It's my third all-time favorite book. Yes, we love the house in the Cerulean Sea. It's very comfy and cozy. Yes. The War That Saved My Life. There you go. There's a middle grade history recommendation. No, I've not read No Exit by Taylor Adams, but I have it. I'm looking at it on my shelf right now. So it's definitely, I will get there. Kira, another middle grade history recommendation. Diana Wynne Jones, but gay and adult. Diana Wynne Jones would also probably be I don't think it's whimsical in quite the same way, but I see where you're going with that. I agree. Okay, and then the third one that, sorry, I'm trying to get through this in a reasonable amount of time. The third in physical copy I have of one that's already come out is The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. And actually, we were just talking about Jane Eyre, so that this is a good segue. This book had not really been on my radar. I'd seen some promotion for it, but for whatever reason, I hadn't really been drawn. Like, frankly, something about the cover communicated to me that this was the kind of thriller that's not always my jam. Whatever that tells you, like, we could get into a whole, like, analyzing what covers communicate to different readers, but whatever. I just was like, oh, okay, that looks like a thriller, but maybe not one for me. So I didn't really look into it further. Then I got this big box from a publicity firm that sometimes sends me things, which was very nice of them. And it said that it's a contemporary retelling of Jane Eyre, but as a thriller in the South. And I was like, these are all things I absolutely love. Like, why did I not realize this is a Jane Eyre retelling? Jane Eyre is my all-time favorite book, and this is like a contemporary modern retelling of it. So I've been seeing, I would say not wholly positive, but mostly positive reviews of this. But this seems like one that 100% is like trope candy for me. So even like I could see myself just getting into this because it's just something like it's just my jam. So anyway, this one's out. They're doing a big push on this one. So for whatever that you want to take from that. And yeah, I'm excited I always like a Jane Eyre retelling. I find them difficult to enjoy, maybe because I do love the original so much. But when I do like them, I really like them. Like I have Jane Steele somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Jane Steele. And I really like that one as sort of a take on Jane Eyre. So I'm hoping I'll have good luck with that one too. Okay. Yep, The Watsons Go to Birmingham, another middle grade historical fiction. Sophie Hannah's Agatha Christie books. I actually get asked this a lot, and I currently don't have plans to read them because I don't think I could review them fairly. Maybe someday when I'm not a public reviewer, I might get to them. But for now, I just don't see, I love Agatha Christie so much. I don't see how I could really review them fairly because I would just go into it being like, but this isn't Agatha. So, yes, there is a new Clune coming out this year that looks like it's going to be very similar in tone. That's true. Fever 1793, but that's lower YA. Okay. Okay, on hold for The Wife Upstairs. Some people got it in book. Oh yeah, it was a Book of the Month Club pick. I didn't even notice that. Yes, there are spoilers from Jane Eyre, I can tell. I won't get into what they are, but it's very clear that there's some spoilers for Jane Eyre, so maybe read that first before you read this book. Predictable, but an easy, quick read. Yeah, I mean, I would be satisfied with that, so. How close is it to Jane Eyre? Okay, we have one dissent against the Wife Upstairs. I covered Housekeeping in the first half, but I will timestamp it later because I wrote down the times ahead of time. You can't tell I'm very proud of myself for being so organized. Let's see here. Yes, I really like Jane Steele. It's kind of a weird book, but in a fun way. Yeah, I'll let you guys know how close it actually is to Jane Eyre. It doesn't, I don't know. I mean, it's by no means a bad cover. It's actually quite a nice cover. It just doesn't communicate what the cover copy actually tells me this book is about. So I don't know. If you like angsty gay vampires, Clune's Green Creek series is a satisfying book crack. That sounds great. Sold. Yeah. I just don't want to, I feel like it's not fair. I love Agatha so much. Okay, so then I've got a couple more that I don't have in physical form. So the first one, I don't know if Alexa is still here, but this is a recommendation that I saw on a video Alexa Dunn recently did about isolated thrillers. And one of the ones I hadn't heard of that wasn't on my radar, and I was like, ooh, that sounds intriguing, is called The Perfect Guest by Emma Roos. Now, this is not, from what I can tell, an actual isolated closed circle mystery or like, okay, because like when I think isolated closed circle mystery, I really am thinking very similarly to And Then There Were None, like we all get together in one place, people start dying, we can't get away. That's like a key component of it. And I couldn't tell from the description if like they can't get away. And also there's dual timelines, which makes me think it's not like strictly an isolated closed circle mystery, but it seems like it has those kinds of vibes. There's a dual timeline. One is in 1988 with a teenage girl at her aunt's manor in like the wilds of England, it sounds like. And something like some big bad thing happens, it sounds like. And then in 2019, we flash forward to a different character who finds out, or who's going to be an actress in like a weekend, like, you know, like those murder mystery parties that people have. She's like gonna be that, but then when she gets to the house, which is the same one the other timeline is at, like things start happening. So anyway, it seems like it's at least in that same arena, which if you guys know my taste, I am a total sucker for an isolated closed circle mystery. So anything that is even approaching that is gonna be for me, basically. So I wasn't aware of that, but Alexa put it on my radar, and I think I'm online for it right now at the library. So it seems like that could be a good hit for me. Yeah, I feel like there's been a lot of, actually one of my anticipated ones we're going to talk about is, oh, there's Alexa. Here we go. Sure about the wife upstairs. Saw that Jane is a grifter. I did not see that, but that is intriguing. But yeah, I'm also, I feel like there's been a lot of really good horror releases, or like hyped horror releases, more so than in recent years. Angsty gay werewolves. Well, vampires or werewolves, this sounds like one for me. If you read thrillers and you reread Jane Eyre a lot, you'll know who done it. Okay, well, that's fine with me. I talked about this in my very specific book opinions video. I don't have to be wholly surprised by a thriller. I just need to enjoy the journey. As long as I'm into the things that are happening, even if I kind of know what's going to happen, I'm okay with that. So, okay, yes. So Alexa says that it's not a pure isolated closed circle mystery, but it has those vibes, which is all I'm looking for. So, modern mysteries have the word guest in the title. Huh. I think you're onto something there, Kay. Yeah. The unwanted guest. The guest list. Yeah. Foster parents. Okay. And it's suspect as to why she's been taken in by the family. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Yeah. This sounds like it's going to be for me. So I'm excited to get to that one. Yes. Hello, Alexa. Let's see here. See, I'm a hard sell on a dual timeline. I can like them, but I'm picky about them. But I think that's my deal. I know most people don't feel that way. Yeah. Twist upon twist. See, that's like the opposite of me, because I mostly don't think the twists are actually that twisty. And I think I kind of get annoyed because sometimes they're presented with a sort of flourish from authors of like, ha ha ha, haven't I surprised you? And if they didn't surprise me, I'm just like, no. I feel like a real letdown from it. So I still gave the book 3.5, almost 4 stars because I wasn't bothered by the predictability. Okay. Cool. Creepy children horror is awesome. Really enjoying The Only Good Indians. Americana horror is my jam these days. Yes. Well, if you haven't read Ring Shout, I'm determined to make Ring Shot the new murder bot of 2021. So if you haven't read that, I would definitely recommend that as Americana horror. So, okay. And then the next one is another mystery. And who recommended this to me? Actually, I don't think I got recommended this one. I just saw this as, I saw this on NetGalley and I was intrigued by the cover and discovered that it appears to be an isolated closed circle mystery. So this one is called Shiver by Ali Reynolds. And it says, in this propulsive locked room thriller debut, a reunion weekend in the French Alps turns deadly when 5 friends discover that someone has deliberately stranded them at their remote mountaintop resort during a snowstorm. I mean, need I say more? We were just talking about that's like exactly the kind of book I like. So this has me all over it. This sounds like an isolated closed circle mystery, like a true blue one. When let's see, she accepts an off-season invitation to Le Rocher, a cozy ski resort in the French Alps. She's expecting an intimate weekend of catching up with 4 old friends. She's not seen them in a decade, but no sooner do Mila and the others arrive for the reunion than they realize that something is horribly wrong. The resort is deserted. The cable cars that deliver them to the mountaintop have stopped working. Their cell phones are missing. And inside the hotel, detailed instructions await them. An icebreaker game designed to draw out their secrets. Yes. Like, put it in my vein. Like, I just want it in my eyeballs, stuff it in my eyeballs. This sounds like exactly for me. So, even if it's not a very good one, the how perfectly this is set up for me, it doesn't really matter. So there we go. Let's see here. I don't need the end of a thriller mystery to have a totally surprised villain, but I do love a big twist in the middle that totally changes the stakes. Yeah, if people can pull off a twist, I'm totally here for it. I just think that it's really hard to do well. And if that's what if that's the entire kind of like gee whiz factor of a book, it can be difficult to execute, I think. So I read Murderbot and Ring Shot because of recommendations. There you go. Doing the Lord's good work here. Reunion weekend in Alps injected in my veins. Exactly. I'm the same. So that's Shiver by Ali Reynolds, Alexa. I think that you will. I don't know if you'll like it. I've not read it yet, but it seems like a book you would like. It's your kind of book. Let's see here. Yes, reading. Yes, you should definitely read Ring Shout. I endorse this. Yeah, it seems like they actually do know each other because sometimes those are like, they're lured there under the pretense that they're going to know the people, but they don't actually. In this case, I think they actually do. So I love a good kidnap thriller or secluded murder mystery as well. Yeah, I think this one sounds really fun. So have you read Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson? No, do I know? Did Kevin Wilson write The Family Thing a few years ago? So happy to see all the love for Ring Shout. Yes, it's so freaking good. I just checked out the audio of Shiver from my local library. Well, yay. I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, so Shiver is definitely one I'm going to get to. Then, I know you're going to be shocked to hear this, but then we've got another apparent isolated closed circle mystery. Well, it may not be closed circle. I can't tell. It's at least an isolation thriller. So this one is from C.L. Taylor, whose work I have definitely enjoyed. She wrote Sleep. Where's that? Sleep. Which is a true isolated closed circle mystery. So I really enjoyed her work on that score. And this is a YA book from her. She typically is mostly published in the UK. It's a little tricky to get a hold of her books here stateside, but I just order them from Book Depository. So this is called The Island, and it says Lost meets the Hunger Games in the thrilling new young adult novel from C.L. Taylor. Welcome to the island where your worst fears are about to come true. It was supposed to be the perfect holiday, a week-long trip for 6 teenage friends on a remote tropical island. but when their guide dies of a stroke, leaving them stranded, the trip of a lifetime quickly turns into a nightmare because someone on the island knows the group's worst fears, and one by one they're coming true. 7 Days in Paradise, a deadly secret. Who will make it off the island alive? Can you tell that I have a type? When it comes to mystery, I'm so predictable and I'm so easy to please. Like, if you just give me some, like, here are all these people just like trapped in here, somebody's going to start murdering them, I'm going to be pretty happy. So and it's a YA version of it. So and it's got kind of like a adventure, like survivalist kind of element to it too, which is fun. So anyway, I think that's the last of these that that I'm going to talk about, but you can tell I really do like a certain kind of book. Okay, yeah, Family Fang. Yeah, I haven't heard of that book, but I have heard of the author. My girlfriend pre-ordered me a signed copy of A Court of Silver Flames, and I'm fanning buying at ink right now. Fanning buying? I don't know that word, but I'm glad that you got that lovely gift. I read Nothing to See Here, magical realism. Okay, cool. Sitting here thinking I better, yes, you need to read Ring Shout. Everybody needs to read Ring Shout. It's so good. And it's short. This is the time of year for isolated closed circle mystery for sure. Yeah. Good night. Sleep tight. I'm impressed you stayed up so late. I'm an old lady who falls asleep at 9:30. The Unwelcome and Eyes of the Forest. There you go. Just borrowed The Haunting of Tramcar 015. I read that at the beginning of last month. That was my first book of 2021, actually. Magical Steampunk. Yes, it's so good. And I'm reading the full novel right now, and it's as good. It's so good. It comes out in May. Are you currently reading any nonfiction? I just started last night Just Us by Claudia Rankine. So I'm excited to dive into that one more. Yes, go order Ring Shout. And we can put a button to let Tor know when you guys order that for me too. So there you go. Name of the last one, The Island by C.L. Taylor. And I already put all the names of the books in the description, so you can check there too. Yes, Ring Shout. Everybody, read it. So good. I'm currently reading The Black God's Drums. Can't wait to get to Ring Shout. Yeah, The Black God's Drums, after I finish the one I'm currently reading, will be the last Peter Jelly Clark book for me to read to be fully caught up. So that's on my list too. Oh, Fangirl. Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, you taught me some internet slang. Thank you. Feel dumb now, but thank you. Appreciate the clarification. Of Black Buck. Do I know that book? I've never even heard of that one. It's got a beautiful cover. For fans of Sorry to Bother You and The Wolf of Wall Street, a crackling satirical debut novel about a young man given a shot at stardom as the lone black salesman at a mysterious cult-like and wildly successful startup where nothing is as it seems. Huh. That's interesting. Is that adult? Yeah, I guess it's adult because it's a salesman. Interesting. Just finished today and I'm stuck on how I feel. Huh. I mean, it's an interesting concept. It doesn't necessarily sound like the kind of book I gravitate to these days, unless there's some sort of like magic-y thing in there. I don't know. Maybe. Your ambivalence intrigues me. Have you heard of the Decagon House Murders? Yes, I own that one. It's on my Kindle. And someday I get through all these GD books that I have, I will get to it. But yes, I've heard that one's really good. Yes, there we go. Okay, Trina's gonna read Black Buck. Maybe I'll wait for some more consensus to grow around it. Like I said, your ambivalence does intrigue me. Let's see here. There we go. Definitely adult. My Sister the Serial Killer. Yeah, that's another one on my TBR. I'm looking at it right now on that shelf over there. Is a has her sticker on it. Ooh, that's annoying. Oh, there we go. A middle grade mystery book. Middle grade. I've not read it yet, but I've heard great things about Green Glass House. I've got that on my shelves, and Poison is Not Polite. Not read either of those yet. I'm trying to think if I've got a middle grade mystery. Oh, I guess The Westing Game. That's what I would recommend, is The Westing Game. No Magic. Someone else to read it. I know that feeling. Do you see the ripped bodice? Yes, I have seen that. It looks amazing. I hope you enjoy that. Let's see, big reading mood. Yeah, once you get in the groove, it's easier to keep going. Yeah, I've heard that one's good. Enola Holmes, there you go. Y.S. Lee's, no, that was YA. That was, see, I keep thinking of examples and I'm like, no, that's YA, not middle grade. There you go. Ooh, there you go. Okay, I've got two more. This one is so basic, and I'm sure everybody's got this as a recommendation. I have this pre-ordered for audio, and that is 400 Souls, A Community History of African America, 1619 to 2019, which is edited by Dr. Ibram X. Kendi, who, if you watch this channel, you know I absolutely love his work. And then also Keisha N. Blaine. And the kind of short blurb is an epic-defying history of African American. I keep wanting to say African American, but it's African America. The first to appear in a generation, 400 Souls is a chronological account of 400 years of Black America, as told by 90 of America's leading Black writers. So this is an anthology. Basically, it's like a historical nonfiction anthology. And yeah, I'm confident I'm gonna love this. It's exactly my kind of book. And yeah, I've got that pre-ordered as audio. So I'm sure that's going to be a big bestseller, and can't wait. So, T. Morgan says Black Buck was a big no. Okay, Ashley, we found somebody who can talk to you about it. It's wild, but no sex scenes. Okay. Ask about that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm sure it's going to be amazing. Also, I can't show it to you, but the cover is beautiful. Like, I really like the cover art that they have for it. Let's see here. Nice. Yeah, the cover is so beautiful. Yeah, I think 400 Souls is going to be a big bestseller this year. I think, yeah, it sounds great. We love 400 Souls. We love Ibram X. Kendi, who's the editor of 400 Souls. So I think it's going to be fantastic. That book goes downhill. Okay, so we've identified two people for you to talk about this book with, Ashley. We've got T. Morgan and we've got Yahara. So found your people. And then, okay, this last one, I'm going to be real with y'all. A big part of what drew me to this was the cover, which again, I can't show to you. Or can I? I've never tried to screen share. What if we're about to have an experiment here. Okay. Okay, it's asking me. Okay, I'm having to do settings and that's not going to work. Okay, never mind. Abort. I can't show you this, but you look it up for yourself. The last one is What Big Teeth by Rose Savbo. Savbo, I guess maybe is how you say this. SV V? No, SZ. Gosh, guys. I need to go to bed. It's not even like it's barely past 8 o'clock, but I'm so tired. Okay. Szabo. Savabo? Rose Savabo. And it's Rose Savago's thrilling debut is a dark and thrilling novel about a teen girl who returns home to her strange, wild family after years of estrangement, and it's perfect for fans of Wilder Girls. Eleanor Zarian has been estranged from her wild family for years. When she flees boarding school after a horrifying incident, she goes to the only place she thinks is safe, the home she left behind. But when she gets there, she struggles to fit in with her monstrous relatives who prowl the woods around the family estate and read fortunes in the guts of birds. Eleanor finds herself desperately trying to hold the family together. In order to save them all, Eleanor must learn to embrace her family of monsters and tame the darkness inside her. So I think that sounds like kind of like horror-esque, and it seems I'm just intrigued by it, to be totally honest. Like the cover really intrigues me, and then it just seems like it seems like maybe they're like werewolves. That's kind of what I'm inferring potentially, or like in that realm of kind of ooky spooky creature. Um and it seems like that could be a fun book. So I believe this is YA, I think. Who publishes it? Actually, maybe not. It's published by Fair, Strauss, and Giroux, which I don't think usually publishes YA, but it's a young protagonist. And it's just seems intriguing to me. Let's see, what's the rating like right now? It's just under 4 stars. So yeah, I'm intrigued by that one. So that one comes out on the 2nd of February. I think that's the last one I was going to mention. Doesn't feel like it took too long for that ending. Oh yeah, Back to Black Buck. Training to My Heart to Love You by Monica Walters, because you talked about it and it's spicy hot. Oh, to Ashley, I didn't see that. I was like, I don't think I've read that one, but there you go. Yeah, the cover is really creepy. I think it looks great. Came in late, but so I may have missed it, but did you mention Wings of Ebony? No. Let's look this up. Well, the cover is gorgeous. So if we're going strictly by that, it's definitely engaging. The short blurb is, in this riveting, keenly emotional debut fantasy, a Black teen from Houston has her world upended when she learns about her godly ancestry. And with evil sinking its claws into humans and gods alike, she'll have to unearth the magic of her true identity to save both her worlds. Well, Josh, I wasn't going to talk about this one, but we're putting it on my Goodreads, and we'll see if my library has it for me to get on hold with. So thank you for the recommendation, because that seems great. Yeah, we're all agreeing that What Big Teeth has a fantastic cover. Yeah, Little Riding Hood vibes, and that's why I'm thinking like maybe they're werewolves, like Big Bad Wolf kind of thing. Secret of the Sealed Room by Bailey McDonald is a really good middle grade mystery. Okay, just read it and actually read like a true mystery versus the kiddish mysteries they tend to have. It's historical fantasy. We'll look that up. Let's see. When I hear Sealed Room, I think, is that a isolated closed circle mystery, or why close? Ooh, a mystery of young Ben Franklin. Well, there you go. That's fun. A series of scholarly essays called Why Wakanda Matters. I think Bethany was reading that one and was enjoying it. Okay, we've got someone who has read What Big Teeth. The vibes, the setting, the descriptions, the imagery were all chef's kiss. I didn't listen to the plot stuff, but it's still super cool. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Finally getting to Slay. Yeah, I've heard great things about that one. Wings of Ebony. Okay, yeah, The Gilded Ones is one I've been anticipating, and I've seen fantastic reviews. I was gonna say, I've gotten, from what I've heard, it sounds like it's actually pretty dark, because I think it's supposed to be YA, right? But it sounds like it's pretty dark, which I'm down with. The Girl with the Glass Bird. I usually buy or take books from the library because of review recommendations. Please say how this book. There you go. I don't know of this one, sadly. NetGalley is still giving arcs too. Ooh. I'll have to check and see if I can get one. Yes, Snaps for the Library. Actually, I have a blog, preview of coming attractions. I have a blog heavily featuring the library going up on Sunday. I'm a lover of the library. All systems red. Woohoo! Enjoy. But what kind of horror do I like? I tend to like more like my favorite kind of horror is probably like scary house kind of horror. I also like creature horror depending on how it's done. I can get into I like a lot of like ooky spookiness in horror. I'm less into like gruesome horror. Does that make sense? I don't know. This gets into the whole thing of like, is horror a vibe or a genre? I don't know. Super freaking dark. Oh, you're shooketh. Okay, well, interesting. I have not read that one. Some of All of Us is a nonfiction coming out this month. Pretty good. Oh, thank you. So yeah, so those were the few kind of addendums to my anticipated reads that I wanted to make known because they weren't going to show up. When I do my next one, it will be for books from March onwards. So these are the few kind of like interim ones. So I wanted to put these out here. I'm super excited for that book, and then heard it had a lot of triggers for child soldiers. Yeah. I mean, now that you say that, Ashley, I can, just based on the premise, I mean, I could see how it could get dark. And yeah, Charlotte mentions that the author grew up in Sierra Leone during the Civil War, and that's the basis for a lot of what's in the book. So, yeah, probably do some investigation on trigger warnings before you dive into that one. But what I've been hearing is that it's really, really good, but darker than people were expecting. That seems to be kind of what I've heard for the most part. Is it a genre or is it a vibe? An eternal question. So true. So true. Well, yeah, so those were the books I wanted to talk about. We did housekeeping at the beginning. I will timestamp this video after it goes up so that people can skip ahead to whatever they are interested in hearing about. And yeah, I don't know. Anything else, guys, before we start to wind it down here? I say that, it makes me feel like I'm leading a meeting in the office. I'm always like, okay, thanks everyone. I see that we're at the top of the hour. So does anybody have any last questions before we leave? Does everybody know what their action items are before we break this up? Yes, we're not. We're not, I'm not leading a meeting. I'm just hanging out with you guys. Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoy those. I haven't read these. I don't know that they're good, but they're definitely like my vibe. So yes, I'm glad that I'm spreading my disease of constantly adding to TBRs to others. But just join in. Love the video essay. Thank you so much. Yes, we talked a little bit about that at the beginning. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And yes, if you guys haven't seen it, I would love it if you would check it out. I definitely put a lot of work into it. So I appreciate all the love. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Glad to support your library. And get tired. Yeah, I just, on my meds these days, I get tired easily, especially after a long day. So, Yes, I kicked ass. I am a PMP, and I just finished renewing my credentials, so I can get a Gantt chart going for you guys. Yes, thank you guys. Zoom meeting. Yeah, action items. Yeah, your action item is to go to your library and request some books and to read more. Thank you guys. She's reading in the tub. Oh, man. Good night, guys. Oh, thank you. That's so kind. I'm glad you guys enjoyed. Oh, I should mention there's no live next week. I'll have a pre-film video, but I will be back the week after that. So on the 16th, Ashley, who's been in here tonight, and Bethany, we're going to talk about plus size characters in books. So that will be a discussion on the 16th of February. I think that will be great. And yeah, that will be the next one. Reading in bed, those are your action items. Yes. Thank you, Josh. Get right on that. Oh, yes, it is. It is very much jargon. So good night. Good night. Good night. Sweet dreams to those of you going to bed, for those of you waking up. Yes, I think that's going to be really fun, Ashley. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Exactly. You're going to get a strong performance review. Yeah. Okay, I hope you all have a wonderful evening or morning. I'll put some timestamps in this for those of you watching on replay, and have a good night, guys. Bye.